There you
settle
are. No,
down?
no, no, I can see you now.
Okay.
It always
Okay.
takes a while, I guess.
Okay. Okay.
How are you? Thank you for joining. I'm so excited to
No.
talk to you.
Yeah, same here. I'm very well, and I hope you're doing well too.
Yeah, and I had heard about Amrit Bhawan, but I was not aware of
Yeah.
Ekat Living. You clearly do many, many things.
That's been a theme in my life.
Yeah. How I'm very
Yeah.
interested to learn more about Amrit Bhawan. How did it come about? Do you have a hospitality background? Like, I have a lot of questions. But yeah, please tell us.
Sure. I mean, I'll tell you what I do currently, and then maybe we can delve into my
Please,
background as well a
please.
little bit. So I am I'm based out of Delhi, but Amrit Bhavan is a property in Haridwar by the Ganga in Uttarakhand, and this used to be a second home for my family since the 1980s. So we spent a lot of family gatherings, holidays, just sort of by the Ganga, doing bonfires and things like that, and a lot of core memories actually from this house. But in 2017, we converted this into a boutique hotel. And well, 2018 is when we started doing it, and 2020 is when we opened. So it's been about 6 years of this running as a boutique hotel. It's an 8-room property. And I've been involved with the conceptualization, design, execution, and now the operations of it for the last 6 years. And yes, trying to sort of make a headway in this very interesting hospitality space with a few more projects in the pipeline. So that's, I
Amazing.
think,
How
stand
lucky
currently.
that you got to spend childhoods at that property and around the Ganga. Sounds like a fun childhood.
Yeah, I mean, actually, the nice thing is that we had a really big family, and I remember very clearly we had a scavenger hunt once that was organized, and in fact, all of us didn't even fit here because we were like 50 people. So some people stayed here, some people stayed in a hotel across the river, and then there was a scavenger hunt through the city of Haridwar. We had to go and collect different colored items, and kind of the list of things that my father had sort of planned. Very
Okay,
interesting games, and those memories are very very dear to me. So yeah, it's been nice to
fascinating.
see the space evolve, and now of
Of
course
course.
host very different memories. Yeah.
Of course, of course. But just for me to even think back to when you were a child, how different Haridwar would have been because I can't even remember the last time I went to Haridwar. I feel like a lot of people, especially from a tourism point of view, tend to talk more about Rishikesh, not so much about Haridwar. If, for someone who doesn't understand the difference between the two places, and since you are experienced obviously in that area, how would you describe the difference?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I don't blame people for getting confused. They are very close by. It's about 45 minutes driving, and both are by the river, but they are very different as well. So I think Rishikesh, of course, is sort of more in the mountains, and it became famous because of the Beatles and or the whole yoga movement and everything. And so that's always been the more sort of hippie town, and it's been very popular for that. Whereas
Yeah,
Haridwar, I think, is still more sort of religious in the sense it's more, people are coming here for pilgrimage. For, of course, a lot of people come here for like rituals, whether it's death rituals or birth rituals or
of
marriages and
course.
things like that. And so, in that sense, it has a wider mass appeal. Whereas Rishikesh, of course, I think became this sort of hippie hub. So I think they went in different directions,
Yeah,
but I think both have something special, and both have slight variations when you're at the ghat and you're doing the aarti. The Ganga Aarti, of course, is the big highlight in both
yes,
places, and it's very different in both. And I think Haridwar just has more. Actually, there's more history and more even mythology linked to Haridwar than there is to Rishikesh.
okay.
Because there's a lot of, yeah, it's been mentioned in the Purans and all of these different texts of Hinduism. And of course, there's also history. I mean, we have 400-year-old buildings and all of that in Haridwar,
Yes.
but I think it's known more for all the lores and the stories of Shiva and Sati and Kankhal and all of these areas, which are really I mean they're all here, and one just thinks of Harki Pot and Harki Pot is there, but one doesn't really think of
I think we lost you there. Or maybe I lost you there. I can't really hear you anymore. Can you hear me, Varun?
covering what the city has to offer.
Oh, sorry, I completely
I
lost
can
you there.
Yeah, I could see the thing loading. Yeah, I can hear you now. I'll just repeat what I was saying.
Yeah, sure.
Am I audible to you?
Yes, you are now.
Okay, okay. So I'm saying that I think for me, it's been about exploring Haridwar beyond the religious aspect,
Of
and
course.
kind of looking at the nature around it, the forests around it, the historical, architectural, features of the city. Because it's been a city where people have sort of come from different parts of India, and they've sort of either meditated here or they've created ashrams here, and so it's very diverse. It's like how we have Banaras, which has like a South Indian temple and a Bengali temple, and these
Yes.
communities from everywhere coming in. Haridwar also has that, and it was a sacred grove that kind of grew into this pilgrim town.
Ah,
And I think Rishikesh is much more recent in that sense, if you look at
yes.
history. So yeah, they are very different, but I think both are worth experiencing.
Oh, of
I
course.
wouldn't
Yeah,
say
I
pick
wanted
one over
to
the
hear
other.
your perspective
Mm,
because I have
mm,
been to Haridwar when I was a child. I was probably 5 or 6 years old, and because my parents
mm,
wanted to go, and Rishikesh was on the map, but I don't ever recall going to Rishikesh as a child. But once I
mm,
grew
mm.
up, all I heard was Rishikesh, and Haridwar,
Yeah.
the mention was always in a more serious tone that, it's, yeah. So
Mm,
from that
mm,
point of view, that was my interpretation. So I was trying to understand because you actually live and work there. So you have a
mm,
better,
mm.
understanding of the place. And you said
Yeah.
that the Ganga Aarti also happens at Haridwar. I was not aware of that.
Yeah, yeah, that's actually a really big deal. So it's this place called Har Ki Pauri, which is where apparently the Amrit from the Amrit Manthan, it fell here. A few drops fell here, and that's why it's supposed to be a
Okay.
really a spiritual spot. I mean, that's the mythology there. But essentially, that's where the Ganga Aarti happens every evening, and it's a really big affair. It's very crowded, and there's a certain energy in the air, which is quite amazing. And I think in that sense, it's really a spectacle that's worth seeing. And of course, you
Interesting.
do have the foothills in the background, and it's
Yeah.
quite
Does it
quite
get
stunning.
as crowded as Rishikesh?
More so, more so.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I did not expect that. Okay. But
Yeah,
isn't
yeah. I
Haridwar
think
actually a
it's.
smaller city a smaller place compared to Rishikesh, or is it larger?
I think it's a little larger. I mean, I'm not sure of the population comparison, but I think Rishikesh is a little more constrained because it's actually like it's on like two hillsides, kind of
Huh.
along the river. Whereas
Okay.
Haridwar is basically it's on the plains, but the hills are visible and the hills are right there. So there's more place to sprawl. So actually,
Okay.
it's really grown now. But
Okay.
I think both are, I mean, I think Rishikesh is very long. Haridwar is not, it's a little more contained. And it's
Okay.
actually which is very nice because in India, you don't get cities that you can walk end to end, in a couple of hours. I
True.
mean, in this case, you can actually walk from one end to the other in probably a couple of hours, and you can definitely get around by car in 10 minutes, the entire city
Oh,
and the areas
brilliant.
around it.
Brilliant. Okay.
Yeah. Or
Okay.
like an e-rickshaw, even nicer than a
Sure.
car.
Sure.
Yeah.
So you've
Yeah.
been the hotel has been in operation for 6 years, you said.
Yeah.
What kind of people come and stay with you? Like, is there a particular
Yeah.
type of guest or, and like, is there a particular season?
Yeah. I mean, so this is something that surprised us also because when we were starting, see, we had the property and, it was something that we wanted to do. We built it in a way or we renovated it in a way that felt authentic to us, where we felt like even as a family, at least, we could come and spend some time. But obviously it evolved. I mean, it became, a much bigger project than we'd imagined. But we didn't know who'll come. We were like, is this going to be religious tourism? Is it going to be mostly pilgrims coming for Char Dham? Like, we didn't know. We didn't know what price points would be. But I think what's really surprised me over the last, well, now I've gotten used to it, but the first few years was the fact that people were coming for the property, because I think on Instagram, we could sort of, had a bit of a following, and people started realizing that there is this ghat with this beautiful, serene river, and you don't have to partake in the aarti, or, you don't have to be sort of in the bheed to really appreciate Haridwar or the river. And so we get a
Absolutely.
lot of leisure travelers. We get a lot of people who are interested in just sitting by the river and just soaking it in, and even in the city, like engaging with the city, but from a lens of curiosity, not necessarily religion. So. I mean, someone like yourself with a camera would have a blast in the city, just walking around, taking pictures
Oh,
of the
I can't
graffiti and the
wait.
sadhus. And
I can't
yeah,
wait
yeah.
to come back to India. I mean, one of my friends has also opened a new property in Spiti, and
Hmm.
they keep posting on Instagram, and I feel like Instagram is a really cool platform for a lot of people who have authentic work which is close to their heart, and they're able to showcase it to the literally to the rest of the world. So I can't wait to
Yeah.
come back to India. I mean, Amrit Bhawan is definitely on the list. And I would love
Yeah.
to meet
Yeah.
you also in person. So I'm really glad that we are at least able to do this, which also, again,
Yeah. No.
Instagram. I appreciate
Yeah.
that
It's
very
pretty
much.
cool. I mean, you're sitting
Um,
in Adelaide. I'm sitting in Haridwar. Who would have thought?
I
Yeah.
know. It's fabulous. I mean,
Yeah.
there are so many people that I would love to connect with, and genuinely, my goal has always been to be able to meet people in person because I feel like the
Hmm.
energy is very different when you meet someone in person. So,
Yeah.
but at the very least, at least we can do this. If,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
meeting in person, of course, as time goes and we travel, so we
Yeah.
will, you never know, you might come to Adelaide, talk at one of the tourism conferences to maybe tell Adelaide how the Indian consumer, functions in the tourism industry. You
Hmm.
never know how
You
things
never
work.
know. Yeah. I mean, Australia is a big market for us, by the way, in the sense that we do have Australian tourists who come and stay with us. We've had many groups, yoga groups and wellness groups, like those sort of
Fantastic.
groups
Yeah.
as well have come and stayed. In fact, there's one coming in 3 days. So that's the other kind of traveler, right? Who's
Yes.
spiritually inclined or is sort of trying to find themselves, and they're kind of exploring these different paths of meditation, yoga, etc. I wouldn't call us like a wellness retreat or a meditation retreat per se, but it's a very it's because it's 8 rooms. It's very intimate, and you can take the whole property for a small group and really have a nice uh, time, kind of doing your own thing. So that's another kind of person who comes to us, and of course, in the summers you do get the families, and you do get people who are there for the summer holidays, and then in the winter we get a lot of foreigners coming in from the UK, the US,
Of
even
course.
even
Yeah.
Japan, etc. So yeah, so it's a really
Excellent.
vast group, and it's really fun meeting everybody. Actually, I mean, I'm not
Oh,
here the whole time, but when I am, I love interacting
of
with
course,
this
yeah,
group
I can
of
imagine. I mean,
yeah,
my whole thing when I
yeah,
worked in hospitality for a brief stint was essentially just meeting so many people. It was fascinating to
yeah,
be able to do that because I was like, where
yeah.
else can you meet so many people, at the same time? I mean, I worked at a much
Hmm,
larger property, you're aware, but for you
hmm,
guys, it's more, I feel like it's a more intimate connection because there are much
hmm.
fewer people there. You're able to connect with people on a, more deeper level in that sense.
Yeah. Absolutely. I mean, even guests become friends, that's really
Yes,
interesting to observe. They start chatting with each other because it's not like we have very separate areas, it's like one living, dining kind of space, and then there's a small space in the garden. And of course, you can choose to not engage, but most people end up
sure.
talking, and so it's always nice. And I think that intimacy of scale is only possible when you have fewer rooms. Like, I think you just can't achieve that with a large number of keys.
Oh, yes.
So, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, for
Mm,
sure. No,
mm,
I really appreciate what you just said. And I would love to see the space because I mean, I have seen the photographs on Instagram,
mm,
obviously, but
mm.
to get a sense of the space and I've seen all the small
Yeah.
things that you've done, all the attention to detail. Like, I think, are you sitting in one of the rooms? Is
One
there
of
a
the
couch or a
rooms.
bed?
Yeah. Okay. Should I show you around a bit?
Yes,
Should I
please.
flip the camera?
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. This is our smallest room. It's called Kratu. That's the one I usually stay in when I come because it's enough for me. And that's the room. That's on the ground floor. Uh,
Beautiful. I love the
yeah. And
bed. Wow. Okay.
yeah. All our rooms have these sort of beds with the rattan. I mean, the straw
Yes,
work,
yes.
and every room has a desk, and
And
so it's
do
really
you
nice to
have
just sit in.
terracotta floors? Am I seeing terracotta floors? What is that?
It's terrazzo, so
Oh,
this is again
terrazzo,
very
sorry. Yeah, yeah, I meant
nostalgic.
to say terrazzo, my bad.
Yeah, yeah, even our bathrooms are all in terrazzo. So
Oh,
that's
wow.
been like a theme through the property, where all our rooms pretty much have terrazzo floors. I mean, some of them are original from the original house, and some are, of course,
Oh,
new.
oh, that's so
And
cool
now,
that you've kept elements from oh wow, look at the floor there also. Amazing.
yeah, so this is the first stone
Oh,
floor. That's our dining space.
so everyone can kind of just get together and eat there. Oh, excellent.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's sort of the foyer reception, and that's the library. So there's no reception. It's just sort of
Oh,
all one flowing space. Yeah.
that is so cool. Oh, I'm so glad you're actually showing me the space because it almost makes me feel like I'm there. I'm going to cry.
Yeah, and
Oh,
now for the best
stunning.
part, which is of course the river. So I'm gonna try and take you that side. And if we
Yes.
lose connection, then please pardon me. But hopefully the
No, no,
Wi-Fi
that's okay.
works.
We're going,
We'll
we'll
be
wait.
fine.
Oh, wow. It's right there.
Right there. Yeah. So it's pretty cool. You can actually see it from all the way from the end of the building. Like when you're
Yeah.
going up the lift, you can see it from the lift lobby all the
Ah,
way to the river, which is
just
pretty cool.
to me, just
Yeah.
the color of the water. Oh,
Yeah.
oh, excellent. Okay, yeah, we've lost you now. Maybe you should turn back. Oh, wow. It's literally right there. It's so nice to have. Okay. Oh, yeah, that's so. So someone actually, yeah, the connection is quite dodgy there, Varun. So I actually had someone when I announced the live with Varun, and obviously I posted it on my stories. I had someone DM me saying that they had stayed at Varun's property at Amrit Bhawan, and they had very fond memories, and their son had played right on the ghat next to the river, and they actually sent me a photo of the ghat, that the same place that
Oh,
you just showed it to me. And I was like,
oh wow.
this is what I love about Indian hospitality. It's because
Yeah.
I don't know what it is, but it's just there's this warmth and there's this connection that
Hmm.
we tend to have. And
Yeah.
yeah, that is so cool. Thank you for sharing that view. The color of that water,
Yeah.
yeah, I really
Yeah,
want to be
it's really
right there
cool
right
right now.
now.
It's really green
Wow.
and nice. Yeah. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, it's essentially glacial water, right? Which is why it gets that color, is what I
Yeah.
think. I'm for
Exactly.
sure.
And right now it's all fresh from the mountains. So yeah,
Yes.
it's really nice.
Oh,
So
you
I'm
have
gonna head.
charpais.
Oh yeah, we have charpais. Yeah. So it's a
Oh,
slightly rainy day today, but it's really nice in the hoop to just sit and
oh,
lie
I want to
down
be
and
there right
have a
now.
yeah.
Wow.
So what was very interesting when this was opening, like I said, it's 6 years. We actually were supposed to open on 21st March, 2020.
Oh,
So which was the day the lockdown got announced.
oh
And so
God, yes.
actually, yeah, so it was a soft launch, and me and my family got stuck here because all the guests cancelled, obviously.
What a place to
And
get
so we were
stuck at.
actually stuck here. Yeah, yeah, for 40 days we were stuck here. I'm not complaining, but this Charpai was my permanent spot with a
Oh,
book.
yes,
So it was
please
actually
sign
pretty
me
nice.
up. Like I said, sign me up. Oh, wow. That is a beautiful space.
Yeah,
Okay. Nice.
yeah,
And
that's the
so, how
entrance. Like you
much?
come in from there, and then
Okay.
yeah, that's how it is. Hmm.
So it's summer season there now. It's going to be summers now,
It's
right?
spring.
Spring.
Yeah, I mean it's spring. It's a very rainy day for spring. It's usually sunny, but yeah, it's still quite pleasant.
Okay.
It'll start getting hot, of course, in a couple of weeks. It's pretty much like Delhi, but I would say a little cooler.
It would be cooler
And
than Delhi, yeah.
yeah, yeah, and of
But
course
you
by
know,
the river, it's very pleasant.
it's sacrilege
Mhm.
that you would say that it's like Delhi because it's nothing like Delhi. But I know you meant just the temperature.
Only the temperature. Yeah,
You let that
only the
pass
temperature.
because of
Yeah,
God. Oh, it
yeah,
has that
yeah.
feeling of home. Like even though
Yeah.
I'm not there and you're showing it to me on video, I can still get that
Hmm.
sense of home from that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think it's these spaces very difficult to recreate. I mean, this is the same structure, the old structure. And I think it's the fact that the spaces are a certain scale, like the heights, the sizes of the rooms. Because if you build a new, you'll tend to build larger spaces. Like, you'll just you'll think, oh, it's a hotel. It needs to have 20 people in one space. Let's make it a big hall. And I think that's where we
Sure.
go wrong because it's very difficult to replicate that scale. I mean, if it's built for a home, it's actually quite illogical in many ways because it's
Yes.
not meant for a large number of people. It's meant for many small groups to do their own thing, or
Yes.
many people to do their own thing. So yeah, I think that's something we were very keen to preserve. So we didn't bring down the full structure. We only punctured some walls to make some openings. We rebuilt the second floor, but other than that, we kept pretty much everything intact. So Of course,
Excellent.
with a
Good
new
choice.
veneer of finishes, but yeah, like I think just the scale makes a big difference. Yeah.
Of course, definitely makes a difference. I think what happens is that a lot of us, when we come upon a space like that, we are always like, oh, how do we utilize it the most and make as much money as we can? Because, that's what
Yeah.
happens. But if you think
Mm,
from the point of view, the way you've thought about it, where, guests would come to
mm,
a place which feels like home, then that scale
yeah.
thing and that thought comes in and, you do it differently. And that is why then you have different kinds of guests, you have a
Yeah.
different kind of following, and you have a different kind of clientele coming in, which clearly shows. I mean, the space looks
Yeah.
like it, and the kind of people coming, and again, international clients, again, obviously a different kind, because I'm sure there are plenty of people who travel
Mm,
internationally to, places like Varanasi and Rishikesh, where they're backpacking and they want to have the,
mm,
street experience. That also exists,
yeah.
yes. But for someone
Of
like me,
course.
it's like, yes, please, I want like that home feeling.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't
I
want
know
to,
what
because
you
I
mean.
want to
Yeah.
feel like, even though, so I mean, now I'm in Adelaide, but if I do want to travel back to India, I would really like to stay in a place where I feel connected and grounded and centered, and not a commercial
Mm.
hotel in that sense.
Yeah, yeah. No,
Yeah.
absolutely. I think that's something people definitely appreciate. Just having that. See, if it's only 8 rooms and you have the full sort of space to yourself at the on the ground level, like these dining areas and things like that, it's very quiet because otherwise in a hotel lobby the same size you'll have say 5 times the number of rooms, so you have many
Yeah.
more people. So I think
Yeah.
that makes a big difference. And then the river just has this white noise, I mean, it just puts you in a meditative state. When you're sitting there, you're
Yes.
actually kind of half zoning out because this is huge kind of, white noise,
Yes.
which is really
Oh,
nice. And again, like I said, I am not spiritual. I'm like not at all religious, nothing. But something about sitting there makes me someone like hyper like me also calm and centered. So that's saying a lot.
so everyone is spiritual. Whether they
Yeah.
want to say that they're spiritual or not, we are all spiritual.
Hmm.
Religion is a different aspect. I feel
Hmm.
like religion probably
Hmm.
used to be spiritual as well, where the whole idea was to
Hmm.
connect with yourself and to say that
Hmm.
God is inside us and we are God. But I
Hmm.
think over the
Hmm.
years, that message has kind of been lost and it's become a little more commercialized. Maybe that was supposed to happen. But
Hmm.
in terms of spirituality, the fact that you are able to recognize and acknowledge that the sound of the river puts you in a calm state, which means that it is
Hmm.
grounding you and centering you, which means you're
Hmm.
spiritual. Just
Okay.
saying.
Point taken.
Oh, what kind of foods do you have at Amrit Bhawan?
Yeah, food is a big thing. So my family's a little obsessed with food. I think that's definitely been a theme again growing up. My mom actually runs this really nice like pickle brand called Amra, and it's through a sanstha where they make
Oh my God,
pickles
your mom
with
is
ladies.
there. I saw it on
Yeah,
Instagram.
yeah.
Ooh, do they
So
ship
I mean,
through
with a mother like
ambulance?
that, like maybe someday. But
Oh,
with the mother like that who's so into food, and of course, like even my granddad is very passionate about food. So in general, I think that's been a theme. So of course, we do serve a lot of Garhwali ingredients and sort of Uttarakhandi food. Of course, we do a thali. We do a bunch of I would say like some a spin on some of that stuff. Like we do a hummus but using rajma, or we'll do a kebab but using the specific dals of Uttarakhand, and it's all vegetarian because we're on the Ganga. So it's very interesting. Like the constraints are very interesting. So all of that is of course very tasty, and that's something I recommend people who come here to have first. But we also do, of course, some chaat and like the Haridwar stuff. So like you have the puri and aloo and all
oh,
the kanji vada, the dahi papri and all of those things.
oh,
So that's the
beautiful.
second kind of theme. Yeah, and then the third is just home food. Like rajma chawal, kadhi chawal, soybean dal chawal. I mean, there's a dal chawal section in the menu. There's a memsap special section, which is memsap in the sense, the gratins and the bakes and the pastas and the pizzas, which are very tasty, as
Sure.
authentic as can be, but using local ingredients. Like we're not trying to, win a MasterChef contest here, but
Of
it's
course.
all like so. So like we kind of, I mean, my thinking has been that we should introduce things in the menu if we know we can do it really well. I mean, it doesn't have to be authentic, but it has to be done well. So we've recently added pizzas. after many years, because I was very unsure if if it goes with what you're trying to do. But I'm like, no, it does, because we're making the dough in house, we're doing it properly, and we're using really high quality ingredients, and we're doing it well in a noni. And we only do two types of pizza, and we can offer that very well. Or we do pasta, but then it's hand rolled, and we'll use stinging nettle in the sauce, which is the thing that grows in the mountains, and use some bhang beej to do an ali olio. So I think the idea has been to try to integrate those ingredients into what we know as familiar flavors. And of course, we've had the different consultants and chefs throughout for that as well. The biggest
Excellent.
being our own team, because my team is all Gadwali, so they know their food. I mean,
Yes.
best to rely on them. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and Garhwali
So
food
that's
is
kind of. Mhm.
it's I'm
Sorry.
honestly I'm
Mm.
just I'm just like I want you to stop talking because I'm like I want to eat it now, but I also want to hear it because I'm like, oh, this sounds
It's dinner
amazing
time,
because
isn't it?
forget dinner time, dude. I want to eat that because it's so, local ingredients. To me, everything that you just said, it sounded like
Hmm.
ghar ka khana, like home cooked
Hmm.
food. And
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
is exceptional. Wherever you go, if you're able to get that feeling of home cooked food, that is the epitome of hospitality for me.
Yeah. No, see, again, the scale plays a role, right? Like, for instance, we don't do mother sauces. Like, any hotel, like the fanciest of five-star, seven-star hotels, will have four mother sauces: palak
Yes,
paneer ki gravy, the tomato pyaz ki gravy, and then they'll just hawker the veggies in that. Nothing wrong with it. It doesn't mean it's bad. It doesn't mean it's not fresh. It's
yeah,
it's
it's a
fine.
different way of doing
It's
things.
just that
Yeah,
it'll taste a certain way. I mean, it's going to taste a
yeah,
certain way. And when it's made fresh, it takes 20 minutes instead of 5 minutes, but it'll just taste different. And I think that like everybody appreciates that. I know that for a fact, because automatically वो उतना तेल नहीं जाएगा, उतना मसाला नहीं जाएगा. And then
sure.
certain things I've just banned from the menu, like no butter paneer, no dal makhni. I mean, I have nothing against these things. Of course, we do serve
Sure.
it if there's a group and they really want it. Like, it's fine. But let's not serve what we're already getting everywhere anyway. Like, Uttarakhand's hills are full of chow mein and Maggie and the stuff, when there's so much more to
Yes,
eat. मतलब चाट ही इतनी सारी है, and then of course you have the millets, and you have the all the other beautiful produce. So yeah,
yes.
let's just give that a chance. Like, that's sort of the idea.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm with you on this. Now, I have a question. How did you become like this? Like all these things that you are talking about, the way you think about
Hmm.
food, the way you think about design, the way you guys decided to, what you decided to do with the property. How
Hmm.
how is your, how did you become like this?
I mean, that's an interesting question. I guess that's a very deep question. But I don't know. I mean, I think my training firstly has been in architecture. So I am an architect by training. I went to college for that. I practiced for a little bit. Then I realized I don't want to work as an architect. But I do think I still think like an architect, or like a designer. I mean, I think that's my thinking is like that. I eventually went and studied something completely different, like real estate finance, and I was in the US for a bit with a hospitality company. That's how I got into. I think this is a big mix of all of that experience coming in: hospitality, finance, business background. My family's been into the food business, and then of course my architecture and design. So all of those things combined, maybe I think create something like this. And I think also a lot of it has just happened by doing it. Like when you start, like it's like we thought of converting this into a boutique hotel or an Airbnb. Then aadha saal nikal gaya. Then we started looking at the design. Then we're like, oh, what should the theme be? And then you start thinking about what is already there. How do you appreciate that? And then, like, okay, what should the food be like? And then it's just as you go along the journey, you have choices to make, and you just make, I guess, the choice that feels more right. I mean, of course, there's like a template, and you can go to a consultant and say, I want to set up a boutique property, just do it for me. And it'll resemble like 10 other boutique hotels on Instagram.
Sure.
But I think in that sense, I was just more intentional about some of these choices, and other things about about what not to do, perhaps. So we didn't want to do the dal makhani. We didn't want to, let's say, cater to very large groups, or think of it as a shadi hotel or a pilgrim hotel. Like, we said, okay, it's meant for a certain kind of guest
Yes.
who wants to come here for the peace, for the calm, for the river, to explore the city. And so I mean, maybe in some ways it was for someone like me who wants to do those things rather than what you would typically do in
Very
Haridwar.
good. There it is.
So I think yeah, it's like my wife actually says that she's a brand strategist, and she's like, who's your purple striped vegetarian? So I'm like, what does that mean? She's like, if you open a restaurant, like you should have a very specific target audience. Like who's that one? Who's the person who's wearing purple stripes and is a vegetarian? And I'm gonna design my restaurant for that person.
Yes.
And of course, everyone else is welcome. But like if you have, I think some like your ideal client in mind, or like that, okay, I'm designing for this person, or this is gonna be really lovely for this person to experience. I think everything else falls into place. Like there'll be 10 more people who'll enjoy it equally, but in
Yes.
different ways.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Mm.
Excellent. So the answer I got from all that you said is that you
Mm.
essentially do all these things in a way that they would appeal to a customer or a client who is like you, and you stay authentic to
I
that.
don't know. Yeah, I mean, maybe not for in every aspect, but yeah, it's definitely in some aspects.
Yes.
Definitely. Uh, I think it comes from a place of curiosity and just trying to explore the area around me, the city around me, and that's another part of the experience. In fact, where we really tried to develop some interesting walks and experiences in the
I was
city,
about to ask you.
which
Excellent. Okay.
yeah, because I mean that is how I learned about the city. While this property was getting renovated and constructed for those 2 years, I was going out in the city and going into the market and ye mandir dekh liya, wo ghat dekh liya. There was always this exploration that was happening along with the site and all of that. And I
Yes.
think that is something that I also tried to bring into the properties experience. So of course selectively, but yeah, that's something we're trying to do here and as part of Ekat now with our next project and things like that as well.
So what is one of those experiences? Can you tell us about it a bit? Like what do you do with guests?
Sure. So of course, like for most guests to come here, I mean, there is the Ganga Aarti at our ghat, which is a very intimate affair. You have a little dona, you kind of you make a little wish, you put the diya in the water, and it's much more intimate. It's not a big
Yeah.
spectacle. And of course, there's yoga by the ghat, there's sound meditation, sound healing, things like that. Like every evening, we'll have like a documentary or a musician or something little different, something to keep you engaged. But in terms of exploring the city, I think, of course, we have really cute maps, which I think was a very, it used to be this very European thing, right? You go to Europe, you go to a hotel or a hostel and they mark things out on a map.
Yes.
Right. For me, that I wanted to get that back. So we do have a very beautifully illustrated map. And there are 3 to 4 walks that I've sort of designed over the years, which we now do through just guides. One of them is called the the Daksh Mandir and Kankhal walk. So
Okay.
of course, Harki Pauri and Haridwar, like that I've told you about, that's the main area. It's a busy market. There's an aarti. It's very full on, and it's
Yeah.
also what everybody does. But we started exploring Kankhal, which is where we are situated. We're about 2 kilometers from Harki Pauri. So this is a very
Okay.
quiet, like ashram-like neighborhood. So ashrams, houses, all along the river, and of course some temples as well. And there's beautiful architecture, beautiful pahadi paintings, murals, things like that. So this walk takes you through a lot of these mohallas, courtyards, havelis, temples,
Oh,
gurudwaras, even a ghat where people come for death rituals, and you kind of see a full spectrum of Haridwar that you
okay.
wouldn't otherwise, and in much relative quietness compared to the main parts. And
Yes.
you appreciate the architecture for what it is. You see something that's 300 years old, something that's 100 years old. And so I just feel like unless you see that and do that, you'll only think of Haridwar as Harki Pauri. And then it's
Yes.
just that, very sort of it's like a marketed image of what the government wants you to think Haridwar is all about. So I think, yeah, experiences like those. I mean, even like, for instance, there are these temples around Haridwar called Chandi Devi, Mansa Devi. These are all like little hillocks with small
Yeah.
temples, and they have
Yeah.
cable
Okay.
cars to take you up there. So one way to do it is to go temple hopping. मैंने ये cable car लिया, I went up, I saw the temple, I came down.
Sure.
The other way to do it is you hike up, take a
Yes.
1 hour long route through the old pilgrim route, how people used to walk up
Ah,
to these temples,
interesting.
and then do a little picnic on top, have a beautiful view of the city. And if you want, of course, you go to the temple, and then you walk down and you see the Rajaji National Reserve where you can do a safari and whatnot as well.
Oh,
So
excellent.
so there's
Okay.
a lot of nature actually. I mean, this whole area is, you can imagine, it's where the water from the entire Himalayas like draining here, right? It's very lush, a lot of trees, of course, the river. and a lot of wildlife. So you can do beautiful hikes, treks, safaris, all of that. So yeah, I mean, let's not forget it's Uttarakhand. At the end of the day, it's known
Yes.
for its nature. Yeah.
Yes, yeah, yeah. Excellent, excellent. Um, what kind of, this is very specific. I mean, and I'm not sure if you're comfortable sharing, but what kind of things do the Australian tourists like doing? Do they like going for these hikes in nature, or do they prefer staying on the property
Hmm.
and doing yoga?
Yeah, I don't know if I've noticed that. I mean, I don't think I should generalize because I know that there are a few groups that are Australian groups. So they, of
Sure.
course, then have a set itinerary. I mean, they'll, of course, do yoga and things like that as part of their retreat and perhaps do one of these walks or a couple of these walks as well. I
Okay.
know what you're hinting at because I know there's a lot of, it's very outdoorsy in general, right? Like that's,
Yes.
people sort of enjoy that a
Very.
lot from
Yeah.
Australia. Yeah. So I don't know if I've noticed that pattern. I feel like most people are a little lazy about the hikes.
Sure.
I feel like they're not as popular as I'd like them to be. But I think
Sure.
the walk through the city is definitely more popular. And
Okay.
as far as the safari is concerned, I think that appeals to people who want to see something more than just the tiger, because you can see
Mm.
tigers as well,
Mm.
and leopards, and of course elephants. But I think for bird watchers, it's a true paradise. And
Ooh.
yeah, yeah. But also for these other things. I mean, I have
Yes.
seen a leopard and an elephant myself multiple times, and it's a beautiful forest. It's like Corbett. It's the same, it's almost the same landscape because it's along the
Yes.
foothills. But I just feel like it doesn't get its due because people have, like Corbett is much more developed as a wildlife destination, or so is maybe Ranthambore or something.
Yes.
But there is a
Yeah.
lot to
Yeah.
see for someone who's into that kind of thing.
There was a interesting thing, debate going on Instagram, obviously a few days ago, where someone was saying that we should not be sharing the location of where we get all our beautiful pictures, and they were
Hmm.
saying that we should gatekeep it, and because otherwise these places
Hmm.
get overrun by tourists, and people are
Hmm.
not careful about where they're stepping, or grasslands get destroyed and things like that. What is your take on that?
Hmm. Again, I don't know. I feel like gatekeeping never really works because that's also a very elitist way of thinking about it. It's like, oh, I've discovered this. I want to keep it for myself. I think if a place has that kind of potential, it'll anyway, the word will get out at some point. I do feel like this, I mean, the oversharing on Instagram, social media is a bit much. And this whole thing of one place going viral and then people just, flocking there to take pictures, that is a problem. I mean, I think that can definitely, and we've seen it. I mean, in Haridwar itself, like, it's so, like, I mean, there are these events where you'll have an influx of people coming in, like even during the Kawad Yatra and things. The city can't take it. I mean, it's not built for that kind of influx,
Yeah.
but it still happens. And I do think there's a negative side to that. And I think, yeah, I'm not a big fan of this one place going viral and everyone coming there for a photo op. But I don't think you can gatekeep. I think that's also, I mean, it won't
Yeah.
really work eventually in the long run. So.
Interesting.
Yeah,
Okay.
because also, I mean, at the end of the day, if you think about it, like, especially Uttarakhand, given the socio-economic situation here, there's a lot of out-migration happening, especially in the hills. I mean, not so much in Haridwar.
Hmm.
So I think tourism is a legitimate way for people to make some money, whether it's through, running a small food operation or working in a hotel or whatever it is. So I think we shouldn't take that away from them. I mean, it's let them make the choice. If they feel like the tourists are are sort of taking over their village and they want them out, they'll protest, and I'm sure something can be done about it. But I think in general, I think it's a good thing. It's just that people need to be educated about how to interact with the hills and how to sort of uh,
Hmm.
not take it for granted, because obviously the litter and all of that is a big problem. I'm not
Yes.
discounting
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, because people were giving examples of countries like Iceland where something went viral and the place was so badly
Hmm.
destroyed that the government shut it down and said that no more tourists in this place because
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
the ground cover would take years to recover because some of the stuff
Hmm.
was thousands, millions of years old and it was just fucking destroyed.
Yeah.
So from that point of view, I do understand it. But yeah, the whole gatekeeping thing, I don't think it works like that. And
Hmm.
like you said, I feel that people need to be more, careful and intentional with what it is that they're
Hmm.
trying to do. Because going to a place and taking a selfie and posting that, I mean, sure, it is one way to experience a place. I'm not going to deny that. But
Hmm. Hmm.
to also then respect where you are and have that kind of like I said, intention of why is it that you are there? Is it to
Yeah,
connect with
yeah.
yourself? Is it to connect with nature? Is it to connect with other people? Stuff like that. So I do feel that there is a lot of personal responsibility and self accountability
Hmm.
there. And I don't agree with the
Yeah,
whole gatekeeping either, that, oh, I found this
yeah,
cool place and this is this amazing
yeah,
photograph, but I'm not
yeah,
going to tell you because you are going to ruin it. I mean,
yeah.
I don't agree with that at all.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
fascinating. So, how
Yeah.
you spend time in Delhi as well as in Haridwar? What do you do in Delhi?
Yeah. Well, so there's a family business that I'm sort of involved with, but honestly,
Okay,
this has been I've spent most of my time still sort of doing things for Amrit Bhavan and now for our new project, which is in the hills, but I mean, a lot of the work is still happening in Delhi, like online and things like that.
of course.
So at for Amrit Bhavan now things are more on autopilot. Like I have a really good team who's been with us since the beginning, and we have a good system in place, so I can manage remotely most of the
Excellent.
time. And yeah, I think that's the other thing. Like, I think people who come here really appreciate the team because there is a certain way in which they've managed to run the place, and there's a warmth and all of that. So I think they do what they do best. In fact, I don't like to interfere too much, and I'm just sort
Oh,
of
that's
more
okay.
more interested in curating things and just making sure we keep updating what we are
Sure.
doing, and
How many people do you
that's
have
sort of
on the
more my
team
focus.
at the hotel?
We've grown. We had 7 or 8 to begin with, and today we have about 20, more than 20
Oh,
actually. Yeah.
nice. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
because yeah, I think as you grow, and of course, like now we're pretty full like during season time and things like that. So
Yes, of course.
you want to give good service. You want to make sure your staff is not overworked. You want to have at least 2 people to do one job, so that if someone's on and off, the other person can take over. So I think yeah, we are not a lean team, but it's good because I think we're able to do what we do better because of that.
Sure. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, absolutely. How do you, if you don't mind sharing, how do you get most of your bookings? Like, is there a particular
Actually, mostly direct.
platform? Mostly
Yeah,
direct.
yeah,
Oh,
yeah. I think Instagram obviously really helped initially, and even now, I think we do get a lot of queries through Instagram. But our website, like the direct bookings, are pretty good, and people call up. I think for this kind of a property, people often call up first, and they want to
yes,
talk on the phone, understand, because it's not people are not as comfortable necessarily booking directly. They want to sort of understand what it means to be in
absolutely.
Haridwar, where it is, and all that. So that's about, I would say, majority of our bookings, and then a decent chunk comes from the online platforms like Booking.com and Make My Trip. But and then some through travel agents, but that's a very small
Okay.
number.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. And what is your busy season? Is there a busy season?
So let me tell you what the non-busy seasons are, or like not so popular
Sure.
seasons are. So I think the monsoon, because I think July, August, September, it's raining quite a bit, and it's kind of muggy as well. And
Yes.
also the Kawad Yatra happens, and then we just shut down for 2 weeks. Where we just close the property because
Fair enough.
it's impossible to operate. Yeah, it's a ruckus in the city, but we do all our renovations there, and we do our trainings and that kind of thing.
Oh, excellent.
So I would say,
Okay.
yeah, July is like when we July or beginning of August. Then it starts picking up a little bit because of Independence Day and things like that. And then I think Jan is a little bit of a dull month because it's right after New Year's, and it's also
Hmm.
pretty cold. It's a little foggy. It can rain a little bit. So I think Jan is not the best, but towards the end of Jan, like Feb beginning is the sweet spot. So that's my tip if someone wants to visit Haridwar
Good.
and not get the crowds and get good weather, come in beginning of February because it's beautiful sunny days, still
Excellent.
quite chilly but crisp weather, and
Yeah.
clean water and no crowds. So
Nice.
that's the
Acha.
tip I have.
Okay. Got it. Thank you for sharing that tip. I will also keep it in mind now. And
Yeah,
tell us a
yeah.
bit about your other brand, Ekat Living. What is that all about? Am I pronouncing it correctly?
Yeah, it's ikat. Yeah, so as you can probably tell, I'm a little obsessed with ikat, the fabric. Like it's just, I love it. It's beautiful. It's
Me
there in
too.
the whole property here as well. Like all our upholstery is ikat. But anyway, the company, the name is spelled as EKAT, Ekat. So it's the idea is to bring together different experiences. Ekat,
Ah,
Karna. But
beautiful.
it's kind of, yeah, it's derived from that. And so Ikat is an idea. I'm trying to flesh it out as we go forward. But essentially, it's imagined as an umbrella brand. So Amrit Bhavan is an Ekat experience. All these walks that we do are Ekat experiences.
Okay.
And we are trying to work on this new property in Tehri Garhwal, which is going to be beautiful, sort of thing spread across about 5 acres of land. And that's also going to be an Ekat experience. And I think what ties all of them together is a certain connection to the land, a certain connection to local wisdom, a certain simplicity in design, a certain, I
Yes.
would say, importance given to design. I think that for me, that's really what I'm trying to build with the cut. And yeah, it seems it may not be a brand yet, but it'll hopefully be one soon. Once we have a second
I
property
mean,
up and running.
it is a brand, yes, and you're just
Yeah,
going to keep adding stuff under that umbrella. So that's interesting.
exactly.
I
Yeah.
also really like that name, what you said, like
Mm.
it's Ikat, but you're also bringing everything together to make it Ek. So that's beautiful. Well
Yeah.
done.
Yeah. Thank you.
I One of the things that you said when you were talking about the hotel is you said that we decided, when you were talking about food or you were talking about the renovation, like we decided. Who is this we?
Hmm. I mean, okay, I am sort of heading this, and it's it is me, but there's so many people who support me, and in so many different ways, right? So I can, of course, point to my family. I mean, they've really been supportive through this entire thing. Whether it's my grandfather who really pushed me into kind of doing this and doing it well. He said, don't just make some random Airbnb, do it nicely, like it's our home. And I'm like, yeah, okay. And or if it's my wife or my mother, they're all like my mother with the food, my wife with her brand strategy, all this, the names and things like that. And
Hmm.
actually, I had some really close friends whom I worked with on this, like whether it was the branding, which my friend Bhavika did, whether it was the even the design, the interior design, which two of my friends, Gaurav and Saili, did. It's really nice when you work with people who vibe with you, and then you kind of they become your sounding boards for a lot of these decisions. I
Yeah.
mean, even if my architect is telling me ki, you put this stone or you put that terrazzo, I can still I can still tell him that actually I plan to only serve Gadwali food here. So that's the kind of vibe I'm going for, and that will have some impact on the decision that he or she is making about maybe the upholstery they want to use or the kind of artwork they want to put. So I think it's all connected. I think you can't make these decisions in
Wow.
isolation. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, it is definitely all
Mm.
connected, but just I really enjoy your energy and passion. Like the way you talk about it, it's not like you are stopping to really think about what to say. It's flowing. So it's really nice to see that. I mean, that's my kind of vibe. I really appreciate that.
Okay.
And yeah, that
Thank you.
also answers a little bit of my previous question. I said, how did you become like this? I kind of get it now.
I'm a bit of a rambler,
Excellent.
so
So,
yeah, I talk a lot.
no, but it's not really just rambling also. Like when
Yeah.
I know what rambling is because when I ramble, I know I'm rambling. You're very still, concise, and focused on what it is that you are talking about or what it is that you are conveying. I know how to ramble. You're not rambling at all. Oh, wow. Excellent. Why did you come up with the name Amrit Bhavan? Was that the name of
Oh
the
yeah,
house?
that was the name. Yeah, that was the name. I mean, I didn't. That was zero imagination. But
Excellent.
essentially,
Excellent.
like I said, my family's been into the FMCG business for a long, long time. And our company was called Amrit. It still is actually Amrit
Okay.
Banaspati company. So it was called Amrit Bhavan because it was like a guest house for all company employees, for our family as well. And so it was just called Amrit
Oh.
Bhavan. And I said, it's a
Oh.
beautiful name. Why should we change it? And I think it just makes so much sense at many levels because Amrit means like the elixir of life, and the Ganga and the Ganga Jal is supposed to also be like Amrit, right? So
Great.
it's beautiful. And our logo also
Yeah.
is the river, actually, if
It's
you see.
beautiful. It's
Mm, mm.
beautiful. The logo is beautiful. I like the post that you did about the Pantone colors and like the
Yeah.
Ganga blue or the green. Oh, excellent. Well, very well done. Was that your wife?
Well, the post was Sneha, who helps us with our social media. She was really
Okay.
creative about that. But actually, these colors I mean, they're there throughout our branding. So it's this teal, like a light teal, minty green, and this
Yes.
pink, which you see in all the ashrams around us. And we've
Yes.
used that even in the terrazzo. So the terrazzo colors were actually based on these colors. So in the bathrooms and rooms of the first floor and
Oh,
second floor, we have like
okay.
mint green terrazzo, we have pink terrazzo, we have ochre, which is all denoting colors of Haridwar because you see it in the river, you see it in the ashrams, you
Wow.
see it in the stones. Yeah, yeah.
Oh
So
my God. I'm having a soulgasm just thinking about you actually executing something like that because I remember, 10, 15 years ago in India when, I used to talk to brands about how they could build a brand image or a logo or, have their
mm,
marketing because I used to say stuff like this and they would all be like, what are you talking about? Like, we just want the plain blue stuff and like, we'll just get it done.
yeah,
And there were
yeah,
very few brands those years ago who would actually get it. But now I'm
mm,
seeing more and more people again are intentional with this stuff, which is really nice.
mm.
It's just makes me so hearing stuff like that. Well done.
Yeah, I think, I want to
Wow.
feel good about it. No, I mean, it's like you want to make sure that you feel it's meaningful. No, फिर बाकी सबको दिखे ना दिखे is a separate issue. So I think,
Yeah.
yeah, that was important.
Yeah, no, but that's how I feel that you also then get the kind of clientele that you do because I feel that people who
Mm,
appreciate that attention to detail and that intention and locally sourced not just the food but also the colors in a sense and that you've
mm,
kept the integrity of the place by not just you haven't changed the name and it feels like home. People see this. They might not be able to articulate it immediately, but there is this sense of you get
mm.
it. You're in a place and it feels
Yeah.
like home. I mean, they might
Yeah.
not be able to articulate it more than that, but
Mm, mm.
people do feel it.
Yeah, yeah, no, for sure. For sure.
Uh, okay, and you said you had studied in the US?
Yeah, I did my master's there. So I did my bachelor's from School of Planning and Architecture in Delhi, which is the government college architecture school. Great fun. I really learned a lot, but wasn't my calling, I think, in terms of a profession. So I decided to study real estate finance. I think I
Yeah.
just wanted to study something that felt more closer to business or finance because I felt like I lacked that
Okay.
knowledge. So I went
Okay.
to New York. I was at Columbia for a year and I studied an MS in real estate development and finance, which was very useful because it gave me a different way of looking at things and evaluating. Like it's easy to, as an architect or as a designer, it's very easy to say, oh, yeah, this feels right. Let's do this because it's going to look right or it's going to feel better. But this helped me articulate why, like monetarily, why that makes more sense or why it could make more sense. Also, I mean, it just justifies
Ah,
things, gives you more reasons, and or if it doesn't make sense and you kind of say that, okay, like it might feel
yeah.
very nice, but that's not. Of course, I think Amrit Bhavan is a separate issue altogether because here I just keep doing things ad hoc. If I'm walking around and like, oh, this is not, let's change this. Like every 6 months there's a new renovation project. We do something different. But I think those are small bets, and it really like it just pays off in making the property feel fresh. And yeah, so I keep doing that
That's
as
very
well.
interesting. Thanks for sharing that because I feel like a lot of, I mean, I do feel that youngsters these days are a lot smarter than I was when I was their age, but I feel that it's very interesting for someone, like it gives them a different perspective on the way they can think about what it is that they want to do and apply
Mm,
it.
yeah.
So yeah, so the US, but have you traveled otherwise internationally? Where all have you been? Any
Mm,
interesting properties you've
yeah.
stayed at? Some experiences that were
I
unforgettable?
And there's just too many. Like I love traveling. I've been to like many countries, luckily, and
Okay,
my favorite holiday ever, ever, ever it was Uzbekistan. I went there right after my college. It was a gift from my father to me. He said, "You go for two
okay.
weeks solo travel." I was given a budget for it, and it was the most amazing time. I don't think I can ever recreate that. And I had my camera and I was slow traveling through Uzbekistan like 15 years ago, or no, 10 years ago, which was quite nice. That was amazing. In terms of hotels, I think actually well, not Australia, New Zealand. We traveled with my grandfather, and he's a very avid traveler. He's a big reader. He reads a lot of Monocle. I don't know if you're familiar with the magazine
Yes,
Monocle, but
yes.
he's a big fan. Okay, like he's had subscriptions for many years now, and so he
Wow.
looked up this place. It was called Hookah Lodge. It's in Lake Taupo in New Zealand. And
Okay.
when we went to Australia and New Zealand, this is 2018, I think. He uh, he said, I want to stay here. And it was this really expensive property. Like the Queen of England has stayed there 3 times and this and that. We were like, Pata nahi, kahan ja rahe hain?" Like it was going to be some stuffy place and it's so expensive. But chalo, it was all of us and my uncle, my father. We were like, "Theek hai, chalte hain." And we stayed for a night and it was so beautiful, so lovely as an experience. It's just a fishing lodge that's been converted into this 14 cottage boutique resort kind of thing. I mean, stunning location, all of that, but very intimate,
Okay.
very, and I actually think that that has served as a source of inspiration for so many ideas, even for Amrit Bhavan and now for my new project, actually. Because not
Wow.
that we're trying to recreate that or anything, it's impossible to do
Of
that.
course.
Like, but I think the intimacy, it was like 14 cottages, but then you had this tiny living room, which had like a fireplace, and they'd serve high tea and little snacks, and you chat with the other guests. And I think somewhere I've tried to do that here and in the new project as well, because that's in the hills, and I feel like that's going to be a lot cozier, in a similar way.
Yeah,
That was, I think, yeah, that I really thank my grandfather for that one, because yeah, I think you keep drawing on it for inspiration. Like, that's what's
absolutely.
amazing. I mean, it
Yeah,
was
yeah.
totally worth that whatever tariff we paid, because I feel like that was a work trip. It was a recce trip.
Essentially, yeah. Oh wow, that's very cool. Yeah, that's nice. And I do
Yeah.
understand. I mean, I'm not planning to open any properties anytime soon, but
Hmm.
whatever experience I had, for example, working at Suryagarh with Karan and with
Hmm.
Siddharth, it's I keep drawing on that all the time. Like it's even when I used to go there, I used to see the two of them and the way they interacted with guests, and it was like you were home. And you know how big Suryagarh
Hmm.
is. Even that
Yeah.
place used to feel like home. And even when I used to go as a guest or as an influencer, I would walk around, and ask guests, someone who you could tell, right, that someone's looking for something. You'd be like, hey, can I help you? And people would look at me very quizzically, like, you work here or are you a guest? I said, well, think of me as family. And I'd be like, yeah, can this be done for them? Can this happen for them? And whatever. And the way Siddharth used to talk, like he would talk and he was put his hand on his chest, and the way he would, be respectful with any kind of guest. And the way Karan used to call
Yeah.
everyone beta, whether someone was 10 years older than him or 20 years younger, everyone was beta for him.
Yeah.
Just that I have used a lot of those values in my life, whether
Hmm.
in India or here in
Hmm.
Australia as
Hmm.
well. Some things
Hmm.
just
Hmm.
kind of stay with you. So I understand what it is that you're saying, but you have to
Hmm.
tell me what that property is, because I would love to take a look at their Instagram at the very least. So DM me
It's
once
called
you're
Book.
done, please.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, I'll send you the name. Yeah.
Please,
But
okay,
I
cool.
must say, since you mentioned MRS Group, I love my stay at Narendra Bhavan, because of what they've created there. It's not just a property, I believe. It's not like it's an old palace or something, but they've built it in a way and made a story around it. The whole
Yes.
Raja living there and these different rooms, and I mean the amazing experiences, the food and all of that. Like, it's really stunning, and it's. I think that storytelling is something I also really enjoy. I mean, I don't think I can ever do something that creative. I think that requires some next level imagination. But this whole thing of having a story, I think that's just so important. Like, even in this
Yeah.
greenfield project that we are doing, I'm just
Yeah.
struggling to find that connection. I'm like, we have to make sure it feels like there's a story to this. Even if there's
Sure.
no history, but there still is a story. That land has a story. So I think
Yeah.
that's been a very interesting observation at Narendra Bhavan for me. Yeah.
Yeah, no, so the Suryagarh property is a greenfield property, but Narendra Bhavan, the
Hmm.
ground floor was actually occupied by whoever the king,
Acha.
Narendra Singh Ji. And he actually
Acha,
had
acha,
a
okay.
cow shed there, a gaushala there, which is what they used to
Hmm.
call their out seating area, which had this
Okay.
huge table, which we used to call the traveler's table. So essentially, it was,
Acha.
and all the guests, they would come down in the evening
Hmm.
and you'd find a bunch of 20 people just sitting on this table and no one knew each other. And suddenly it became
Hmm.
like this traveler's table, and that area was called the
Hmm.
Gaushala. So it'd be like, oh, let's meet at the
Ah.
Gaushala at 8 o'clock.
Okay, okay. Yeah.
That was there, but yes, then they built the hotel on top of that.
That's what I mean. Like,
Uh-huh.
it's the
Yeah.
building is new, but it still
Yes.
carries forward that story.
It
So yeah.
does, it does. And actually,
Yeah.
Narendra Bhavan is my favorite. I mean, Suryagarh is
Yeah.
fine. Narendra Bhavan is like
Uh,
my absolute favorite.
I mean, so you go to Bikaner for that. I mean, basically, we went for that. We didn't go to Bikaner for Bikaner, and then that's amazing. If a hotel can do that for a place,
Yes,
that's amazing. Yeah.
fantastic. Yeah, that's a good observation. I hadn't even considered that. Nice.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So, anything else you would like to tell us? Let me, sorry, just check the time. Oh, cool. We've done an hour. Not
We've done
bad.
an hour, I think. Yeah, not bad at all. No, I think
Excellent.
I've spoken enough, but I do hope you got a sense of the property and of what I'm trying to do here, and not just me. Like, now we have a team. We're trying to really, let's hope we do something new soon and it's we can share it
Oh,
with you
yeah, yeah,
guys.
of course you're going to. I'm
Yeah.
so excited that you agreed to come on here, and it's been a pleasure talking to you and getting to know Amrit Bhavan so much more. And now, of course, I can't wait to come and see you guys in person there. So, inshallah, that will happen very soon.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing
Yeah.
all the stuff with us. Yeah, the food and the view that you actually took everyone and like showed it to us. That's really nice. Thank you very
Thank you.
much.
Thanks so much, Nana. Lovely talking to you. Yeah. Take
Okay.
care.
Yeah, and thank you. Take care. Bye.
Bye. Bye.